June 14th, 1944, 09:42 hours, outside St. Lo, Normandy. The air smells of wet earth and burning oil. Smoke drifts low over the hedgerows, clinging to the ground like a wounded animal refusing to die. Somewhere beyond the tree line, machine guns chatter in short, disciplined bursts. The sound of American infantry pushing forward, hedge by hedge, yard by yard. Oberleutnant Karl-Heinz Mertens, commander of a battered Panzer IV Ost F, lowers himself through the turret hatch. His boots hit the mud with a heavy thud. For a moment, the only sound is the metallic groan of his tank cooling after the last engagement. Then he sees it. Just 30 meters ahead, half buried in the ditch, lies a Sherman. Its turret frozen at a sick, twisted angle like a snapped neck. The paint is scorched, the rubber on the road wheels melted, and one track lies peeled open like a broken spine. Steam still rises from the hull. The beast is dead. But it didn't die quietly. Mertens motions to his loader, Gefreiter Weber. Stay sharp, Americans don't leave tanks without friends. The hedgerow rustles, a single leaf floats down, but nothing moves, no voices, no boots, no threat. As they approach the wreck, the eerie silence becomes heavier, almost unnatural. You can feel it, that stillness that always follows violence. Mertens plants a hand on the Sherman hull. It's still warm. Inside, the tank is a tomb. The hatch hangs open, the interior scorched by the explosion that killed the crew. On the radio shelf, amid ash and torn maps, something gleams beneath soot and metal fragments. A radio, intact. Not German, too square, too compact, and marked with a small brass plate. SCR 508, U.S. Signal Corps. Mertens narrows his eyes. This could be useful. He signals Weber to help him pull it free. The two men work quickly, prying the heavy unit from its mount. It comes loose with a metallic snap, wires dangling like severed veins. They drag the American radio back toward the Panzer. Inside the tank, the cramped steel interior is hot, dark, and claustrophobic. The engine hums softly and idle, the air thick with fumes and sweat. Mertens places the captured radio beside the German Fug 5 set. "Let's see how the Americans speak to each other," he mutters. Weber hands him the headset. Static. Then, a click, a hum, and suddenly the radio bursts alive with crisp, clean voices. Red Leader consolidating at Hedge Point 3. Armor support arriving in 2 minutes. Air cover is overhead. Out. A second voice follows, calm, confident, almost casual. Copy that. Red Leader, Convoy Bravo is rolling in. Resupply trucks, fuel, ammo, rations, ETA, 14 minutes. Then another voice. Thunderbolt Squadron inbound, Grid Sector 27. Stand by for support. Mertens freezes. He looks at Weber. Did you hear that? He switches frequencies. More voices, more traffic, fluid, organized, alive. Every American unit, infantry, tanks, artillery, aircraft, logistics, speaking to each other as if plugged into a single nervous system. Such coordination should take minutes, yet the Americans are doing it in seconds. A realization creeps in, slow and cold. Germany doesn't sound like this. Germany can't sound like this. Out there, across Normandy, his fellow Panzer commanders operate alone, cut off, blind, dependent on messengers and unreliable field lines. Half the time their radios barely work through the hedgerows. But the Americans, they are everywhere at once. A single voice crackles through the headset, sharp and efficient. All units, advance on my mark. Mertens exhales. For the first time he feels it, not fear, not panic, but a quiet, crushing understanding. This war is being fought on two different timelines. Germany is fighting yesterday's war. America is fighting tomorrow's. He leans back in the turret seat as another clear, confident American transmission fills his ears. Something inside him sinks.
Inside the cramped steel turret, the American voices keep coming, precise, steady, almost unnervingly calm. For Oberleutnant Karl-Heinz Mertens, every transmission feels like a punch he cannot block. A new voice cuts in. Blue Squadron, your armor column has full priority. Engineers clearing Route C, medical convoy following behind. Engineers, armor, medics, all moving in harmony. Mertens removes his headset for a moment, letting it hang around his neck. The diesel engine behind him thumps like a slow heartbeat. Sweat drips down the side of his face as he wipes dust off the Sherman's radio casing. He speaks quietly, more to himself than to Weber. They're not improvising, they're executing. Weber doesn't answer. He's staring at the radio as if it were a living creature. Mertens puts the headset back on. The next American message is sharper, more urgent. All Allied aircraft breaking through cloud cover. Thunderbolts on station. We have visual on German armor near the orchard. Near the orchard. That's them. His tank, his platoon, his men. He immediately switches back to the German FUG-5. Static. A faint buzz. Nothing. He taps the radio, harder. Panzergruppe Mertens to Company HQ. Come in. Silence. Weber, boost the signal. Weber adjusts the tuning wheel. The needle jumps. The speakers spit static, but no voices reply. No warnings, no directions, no reinforcements inbound. Just silence. That familiar, suffocating German silence that had haunted every battlefield since Kursk. He switches back to the American SCR 508. To all targeting units, adjust azimuth, enemy armor withdrawing south, air support engaging. Withdrawing south. His platoon is not withdrawing. They are sitting ducks. Mertens clenches the edge of the turret hatch. His knuckles turn white. How do you fight an enemy who sees everything, hears everything, and speaks to everyone at once? The question hangs in the stale air of the turret. Outside, the hedgerows rustle again, this time not with wind, but with movement. He raises his binoculars. Through the foliage, he sees shapes. Infantry, American, advancing in a coordinated wedge. Behind them, a Sherman smoke launcher hisses, laying down a perfect white screen as the tanks reposition. Mertens breathes out slowly. This is not the enemy he fought on the Eastern Front. This is not the enemy Germany trained for. This is something else. Something industrial, organized, relentless. He puts the headset on one last time. The radio crackles, and then he hears it. Allied High Command to all forward units. Logistics report confirms full resupply tonight. Fuel, munitions, rations, medical kits. No delays. Mertens closes his eyes. Tonight. For the Germans, resupply tonight is a fantasy. For the Americans, it's routine. He opens his eyes, his voice barely above a whisper. Weber, this war is already decided. We're only playing out the last pages. Weber stares, stunned. Sir, you don't mean... But Mertens isn't listening. Outside, the first American shells begin to fall. The ground shakes. Leaves erupt in bursts of dirt and flame. And the rising whine of aircraft engines signals that the thunderbolts have arrived. Mertens grips the Sherman radio, this small metal box that had revealed more truth than any general. He understands now, and what he's about to hear next will force him to choose between orders and survival.
The first American shell lands close enough to rattle every bolt inside the Panzer IV. Dust falls from the turret roof like sand in an hourglass. Weber grips the radio shelf to keep himself steady. Outside, through the periscope, Mertens sees a geyser of earth erupts just 20 meters away. Another shell whistles in, shriller, closer, smashing into a hedgerow and ripping it apart like paper. The thunderbolts are diving. You can almost hear the cold air tearing around their wings. "Driver, reverse! Use the hedgerow as cover!" Mertens shouts. The Panzer lurches backwards, treads clanking, engine roaring with a desperate mechanical growl. The smell of diesel and gunpowder floods the turret. Another explosion, this one behind them. They are being bracketed. Mertens switches instinctively to the German radio again. "Company headquarters, this is Panzer Group in Mertens, requesting coordinates, artillery support. Anyone, respond!" Static. Again. That same dead, unforgiving static. His throat tightens. He switches back to the American SCR 508 and hears clarity. "Be advised, armor teams. Enemy tanks identified. Coordinated barrage inbound. Air support cleared hot." It is like eavesdropping on a god. The Americans aren't reacting to the battlefield. They are orchestrating it. Another voice. "All units maintain advance. Supplies confirmed. Evac teams standing by." Mertens presses the headset harder against his ear, as if trying to absorb every word. Behind him, his gunner, Feldwebel Kruger, watches anxiously. "Sir, what are they saying?" Mertens doesn't answer immediately. Instead, he asks, "Kruger, how much fuel do we have left?" "Maybe 30 minutes if we push hard." "And ammunition?" "AP is low. HE is half." Mertens nods, absorbing the numbers silently. This is not a battle they can win. This is not even a battle they can escape from without luck. A sharp crack, and the turret shakes violently as a round hits the front glacis at an angle. Sparks fly off the armor. The men flinch instinctively. "Sherman at 1 o'clock, Kruger yells. "Target," Mertens snaps. The Panzer's cannon fires. The recoil slams through the turret like a hammer. Smoke fills the air. Through the periscope, Mertens sees the Sherman shudder, halt, and burst into flame. For a split second, it feels like the old days, like the Eastern Front, like they still had a chance. But then the American radio speaks again. "Multiple Shermans moving to flank position. Air support tracking. Continue pressure." Multiple. Not one, not two, multiple. Weber swallows hard. "Sir, they're moving faster than we can reload." The Panzer reverses again, slipping behind a fold in the terrain. The crew works like a single machine, but even at their best, they're outmatched. Mertens listens to the radio once more. No chaos, no fear, no desperation. Just cold, coordinated dominance. He whispers, "They always know where we are." Then, a new transmission comes through, clearer than all the rest. "All Allied High Command confirms 5 more armored battalions landing by nightfall.
Fuel depots intact, ammunition stockpiles full, logistics green. Weber stares at Mertens in disbelief. 5 battalions tonight? Kruger curses under his breath. We don't even have fuel to reach the next village. The realization that had been building inside Mertens now hits him like a physical weight. Germany can't replace its losses. Germany can't match this communication. Germany can't match this industrial river pouring endlessly into Normandy. He had seen the truth in their voices. He heard victory, not bravado, in every transmission. American victory. Inevitable, relentless, mathematical. Outside, another explosion sends the Panzer scraping against the hedgerow, mud spraying over the hull. He knows what he must do. He must survive. He must keep his crew alive, because the battle has already been decided, but the war for survival is not. He grips the radio one last time, holding it like an artifact of the future. Then he hears something on the American frequency, something that freezes him more than any shell. All enemy armor retreating south. All units, close the noose. Close the noose. Mertens exhales slowly, eyes narrowing. It's us, he whispers. They're talking about us. And what he does next will determine whether any of them live to see the night.